Oh, Sean Hogue. It's always an interesting morning with you around.
Yeah, that should not be a surprise at this point.
That's not a surprise. So, how we doing this morning?
Good. A little
Good, good.
tired,
A little
but
tired. Stayed up too late.
What else do you do on a Monday night
Fair
if not
enough.
party?
Fair enough. Fair enough. So we've still been having this problem where if you get on the live before it starts, so we're scheduling these out, but we're still having the problem if you're getting on the live before it starts at like 8 minutes in, there's something wrong with either StreamYard, the tool that we use, or Facebook. I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus, but there's an issue with one of those tools where it's kicking you out of the live feed and telling you that the live hasn't started, which is absolutely false because the live is obviously started if you're watching it. So again, the solution is if you just go back to the Facebook page and start the live again, it should be fine. I'm not actually certain if this is happening on YouTube as well, but I think it's just a Facebook issue. So yeah, I apologize for that, guys. We're trying to work with Facebook and StreamYard and figure out what the issue is. But for now, if it does kick you out of the live, you can jump back in by just going to the Facebook page. So inconvenience, but it is what it is. So I hope everybody's doing well on a Tuesday morning. As we've been doing lately, I want to jump into a little bit of news and see if there's anything interesting in the news this morning. There always is interesting stuff in the marketing world if you're a marketing nerd. So I hope some of this stuff is interesting to you guys too. So the purpose here is we want to give you some insights into what other companies are doing to maybe give you some ideas on what you can do. Think about just kind of thinking outside the box when it comes to marketing campaigns and just tell you some fun, interesting things that are going on in the world. So one of the things that I found interesting is there's a company called Stone IPA, and they make alcohol. And what they did was they created this marketing campaign where they printed the labels on their bottles upside down. And they didn't tell anyone they were going to do this. So customers started getting the bottles and they opened the package and they realized the labels are upside down. So as you can imagine, people thought that it was a mistake. They start posting pictures all over social media of their Stone IPA with the label upside down. And then after that, Stone started their marketing campaign. And this is absolutely brilliant. And the tagline for the marketing campaign is "Leave no stone unturned." Right? So what a simple idea. Leveraging the name of the company, leveraging a cliche that everyone has heard, and they printed labels upside down on their bottles. And they got a ton of buzz around it. I'm telling you about it because I heard about it. It was printed all over these marketing news channels. And I think the takeaway here is just it's really sometimes very simple ideas with excellent execution. And this is a great example. So we'll send out the link to the news story. It's interesting. I believe there's a video there from the CEO talking about it, and just a really, I thought, clever ad campaign leveraging the name of the company. So that was fun. Another interesting news story that I read is that talking about, I'm fascinated with audio marketing. And so I'm not a huge fan of like local radio advertising. It's more expensive than it needs to be for what you get in a lot of cases. But I am fascinated with audio advertising when it comes to these new streaming channels. And so I read a news article that said Spotify usage on your radio, on your mobile device, was actually down during the pandemic, as you can imagine, because people are not traveling, they're not going anywhere. But what was really interesting is on your TV, streaming devices on your TV, and on game consoles where you can stream Spotify, their usage was up 50%, which is a little bit insane. And this to me is really interesting because it may make us take another look at audio advertising and what that looks like, because what you get now in the digital world of audio advertising is the ability to do more targeting and interaction that you don't get on a radio, right? Like if I'm listening to the radio, traditional radio in my car, and an ad comes on, I can listen to it and then I can do nothing, right? On Spotify, they have video ads on there as well, but you can envision, I don't even know if they're doing this on their platform, but you can envision interactive audio ads where they can ask you questions and you can click buttons or things like that. in the audio advertising. So I'm very curious to see where audio advertising is going to go with some of these digital platforms. So I think it's something we're going to look into a little bit more. But yeah, we're gonna, if you guys find interesting news stories, send them our way. We're always looking for fun stuff to share with our audience. So those were a couple fun ones that we came across. So again, it's Tuesday. We're jumping into Caffeinated Q&A. We do this every Tuesday and Friday at 9 a.m. And if you would like some of the show notes, we've been revamping those a little bit, hopefully adding a little more value. And you can get those if you go to ghostcreative.com/live, sign up for the email list, get one email a week that will tell you, give you some resources from the previous week's shows and talk about the shows that are coming up. So go ahead and check that out. And hopefully, you're finding those valuable. If there's something you want to see in those, of course, let us know. We're open to feedback all the time. So today we're going to talk about Facebook ads, and we talk about these a lot, but we're actually going to dive into them a little bit and look at how you set up Facebook ads, look at more of the details, kind of walk you through what you need to do, and then challenge you. I'll just give you the precursor. We're going to challenge you at the end of the show to go create a Facebook ad, right? Go create one. You actually don't even have to run it. If you create it, you can go through the entire process without running the ad, but we want you guys to go try this. Okay. And so the first thing I think we need to talk about is why you should be using Facebook ads. Okay. Because a lot of people will just tell you, yeah, go create Facebook ads because they're cheap. I don't think because they're cheap is a good reason to use a Facebook ad. Now it's a good reason to use a Facebook ad compared to something else maybe, but just because something's cheap does not mean that you should be using it. So just because Facebook ads are cheap does not mean you should be using them. You should have a better purpose in mind. And so the two reasons that we say all the time for using Facebook ads is, one, you need more reach. So not enough people are seeing your content. You want more people to see your content? There's an easy way to do that. You pay Facebook and they will make sure that more people see your content. Okay, so that's one reason. The second reason is focused targeting. And that means that if you want to target 40-year-old males in Erie, Pennsylvania, you can do that, that enjoy hockey. You can do that with Facebook. So you can say, I want to create this ad and I want you to show it to specifically these people. So if you have a product, for example, that is just made for women, just made for men, whatever it might be, you can create ads and target them so they only reach those people on Facebook. Okay, that's very cost effective. Most marketing does not work like that. It is not targeted. And so you overpay, because remember, how do you pay for advertising? You pay for the number of eyeballs that are going to see it. So when you pay for a billboard, you're paying for every set of eyeballs that are going to see it, regardless of whether that person is your target market or not. Facebook helps overcome that problem by allowing you to target. So those are the two reasons you pay for Facebook ads: more reach and deeper targeting. Okay. So the other question that we get a lot before we really dive into Facebook ads is, should I boost posts? What is the difference between boosting posts and running Facebook ads? And we've talked at a high level about this, but here's really the real difference. A boosted post means that you have already created that post and put it on your page. Okay. So when you have a boosted post, to be able to boost a post, the post has to exist. Technically, you can create the post and boost it at the same time, but generally speaking, that post is going to exist on your page. Okay. So you have to have the post exist on your page, and also you have very limited objectives. So you can do a few things like get more reach, get people to like your page. You do get some of the targeting that you get with Facebook ads, but you don't get the different objectives, and we'll talk about those in a minute. And that post will exist on your page, and I'm going to tell you why that's important in just a second. So that's what boosted posts are. Is there value in them? Sure, there's value in them. But here's the difference. When you run a true Facebook ad, there's two things that I think are incredibly important. One, your objective, there's tons of different objectives. So for example, in a Facebook ad, you can run the objective of getting people to install your app that you made, getting people to purchase from your website, getting people to visit your website, getting people to like your Facebook page. We'll look at all these in a minute, but there are very specific objectives that you can run through a Facebook ad that you don't get the option of doing when you're boosting a post. And Facebook decides on who it's going to show the ad to based on what the objective is. So they know who the people are that install a lot of apps. They know who the people are that are more likely to buy from a clothing website than the people that aren't likely to buy from a clothing website. And so they will optimize your ads by showing them to people that are likely to do the thing you're trying to get them to do. Okay. And so with a Facebook ad, it does not show up on your page. It does not show up in your newsfeed. And that's important because you don't want your newsfeed, you don't want your Facebook page cluttered with a bunch of ads, right? If you went to the Ghost Creative Facebook page and all you saw were a bunch of ads on our newsfeed, that's a huge turnoff, right? So when you run a Facebook ad, it does not show up on your newsfeed as opposed to a boosted post that does show up on your newsfeed. Okay. So I think that's that. I hope you understand the difference between boosted posts and Facebook ads. We're going to talk today specifically about Facebook ads. Okay. If you're going to run Facebook ads, you have to set up, you don't have to, you very much should set up Facebook Business Manager. Okay. It's free to set up. And what it allows you to do is manage all of your Facebook advertising assets through their tool, Facebook Business Manager. This is absolutely critical if you're hiring a marketing company to run Facebook ads for you. Now, you should do it either way, but we see way too often that businesses just give some, random marketer the direct admin access to their Facebook page. Don't do that. Facebook has already solved this problem for you. You can set up Facebook Business Manager. If they're a true marketing company, they should have a Facebook business account. They can request access to your page as a marketer. That's what Business Manager, one thing that Business Manager will allow you to do is you don't have to give admin access to an individual to your Facebook page. Okay. And so set up Facebook Manager. We're going to provide a guide for you guys that a company called Ad Espresso put out that I think is really top notch in terms of setting up Facebook Business Manager. Again, if you need help with it, you can always let us know. But set up Facebook Business Manager. Stop giving people your admin access to your Facebook account. Okay. Once they have admin access to your Facebook account, they have the same access to your business page as you have. That does not need to happen for a marketing company. So set up Facebook Business Manager. Again, we'll provide a guide. We can actually maybe put the guide in the chat. I don't know if you can do that, Sean, or not, but if we can put the link to the guide in the chat, that would be great. We'll try to pull that off by the end of the show here. So again, we're talking about Facebook ads instead of boosting posts. That's what we're talking about today. Set up Facebook Business Manager. We're going to provide you a resource so you can go do that. In Facebook Business Manager, one of the greatest powers of Facebook is something called the Facebook Pixel. Okay. And what the Facebook Pixel allows you to do is it's taking a little code, you put it on your website, and some people don't like this, but the ads work. So as a marketer, I love them. It will allow you to track what users are doing on your website. Now, you don't get individual user information. Again, every time we talk about Facebook, I try to be clear about the privacy because Facebook took a beating over privacy. You don't know who the individual users are on the site through the Facebook Pixel. You just know there are groups of people that did this. So you can, for example, close the door. The little one interrupting the show again. You can, for example,
my crown?
What's that?
Where's my crown?
Well, we're gonna come back. Let me finish this thought, and then you explain what the crown comment is. And we have to wait till we're in person to do this. But so Facebook Pixel, you put it on your site. It allows you to see what people are doing on your site. So you can, for example, say everyone that has put product A in their cart, I want to then show them this additional ad in the future. Or everyone that has read 3 of my blog posts, I want to show them this ad in the future. Okay. And so the Facebook Pixel, if you're not putting it on your site, you're losing out on a ton of opportunity not to annoy people. Okay, this is where marketers ruin everything. It's not to annoy people. It's to say, the right way to use a Facebook pixel is to say, if this person read 3 of my blog posts about how to run Facebook ads, they might need more information about how to run Facebook ads. I can run another ad targeted towards them with more in-depth information about Facebook ads. Bless you. So the right way to use retargeting is to figure out what people are doing and provide more value by giving them more of what they're already looking at. That's the right way to use ad retargeting. Okay. So Facebook Pixel, set that up. We'll talk about that in a second. So that's all the background information. So again, talking about Facebook ads, talking about setting up Business Manager, resource in the chat, and talking about setting up Facebook Pixel. Again, that's in the resources that we'll provide. When it comes to actually creating the ad, you guys have seen the Facebook or the Ghost Creative Pyramid that we talk about with marketing. And again, we'll include that in the resources. But we talk about 5 stages of setting up any marketing campaign. We talk about objective, constraints, target market, messaging, and tactics. Now, in this case, we're talking about Facebook ads. So the tactic is Facebook ads. But you'll see that those things, the objective, the constraints, the target market, and the messaging, when you are clear about those things, and you should be clear about them before you start the ad setup, that Facebook is asking you for that same exact information, right? They're asking you for all the things that we're telling you to create in the pyramid, okay? We didn't model it after Facebook. That's true of any marketing campaign. Facebook just understands what the important things are that you need to market well, okay? So think about the pyramid: objective, constraints, target market, messaging, tactics, okay? That's our pyramid. If you get that stuff clear on paper prior to starting the process of creating the Facebook ad, you will find it significantly easier and you won't get stuck in Facebook ad world, Facebook Business Manager world, trying to figure out your ad on the fly, okay? So I'm going to show you a couple screenshots here from Facebook Business Manager. And I know some of you may be viewing this on a small screen. So what is more important than the intricate detail of these screenshots that I'm going to show you is understanding and knowing what to expect when you dive into Facebook Business Manager, Facebook Ads Manager, and start creating an ad. And also how to equate that to kind of real life marketing, so it's not just a Facebook thing, but understand how this will actually help your business in real life. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and try to share my screen here. Let me get back here. Okay. So very first thing, talking about objective, just like in the pyramid, we talk about what is the objective of the campaign. So in Ad Manager, when you're actually creating an ad, again, you don't have these options when you're boosting a post. When you're creating a full ad in Facebook, you have 3 categories of objectives. You have awareness, you have consideration, and you have conversion. Okay. These are pretty standard categories for any e-commerce, any sales business, right? So you have people that you want to make them aware that you exist. You want people that are in the consideration stage, so you want them to learn more about you. And you have people that are ready to buy. You want to give them a way to do that. And so you'll see in the awareness category, you really have brand awareness and reach. I'm not going to dive into all the details of what the differences are here, but just know this. When you're talking about awareness, they are the cheapest ads that you can buy. It's cheap to get your ads in front of people and make them aware, because that's the easiest thing for Facebook to do. When you're talking about consideration, it's a little more expensive because that's getting people to take action. It's getting them to, say that, click on like on the ad on your page, trying to get traffic to your website, trying to get video views, trying to get app installs, anything like that where the user has to take action that doesn't involve a purchase. So as you can imagine, that's a little bit harder than awareness, but not as hard as conversion. Conversion is actually getting people to buy something on your website, or even to show up in your store, right? So Facebook considers a conversion like someone showing up in your store making a purchase. So you have all of these options. And really, when we talk about brand marketing and direct marketing, these are 2 separate categories. The awareness is really brand marketing. All of the other ones, I would say, are really direct marketing because you're trying to get a user to take action to do something for you. The next thing you'll see in Facebook Business Manager is creating your audience. So again, talking about target market, there's tons and tons and tons of options for targeting on Facebook, but they're really broken down into a few categories. It's really location, age, gender, and then what they call detailed targeting, which is you can target based on interests and demographics and behaviors. So you can target, for example, the top 10% of income earners in your area. You can target people that are visiting your area but do not live here. You can target people that are interested in, for example, the Pittsburgh Penguins or hockey or sports or women's clothing or anything you can imagine. You can target based on job roles, job titles. There's lots of different things. And the way the tool works is when you click on detailed targeting, Facebook will just give you a big list. You can search for stuff and kind of select what you want to target on. But this is where target market is important. And knowing this on paper before you get to Facebook makes this process significantly easier. This is another thing, ad placement. This is something that you get when you run a Facebook ad that you do not get when you boost a post. So in Facebook ad placements, Facebook owns Instagram. So when you advertise on Facebook, you also have the option of advertising on Instagram. And so you can place ads in the Instagram newsfeed, in Instagram stories, in the Facebook newsfeed, Facebook stories, in Messenger, in Facebook Marketplace. There's tons of places that you can place your Facebook ads. It's not the way it used to be where there's one simple newsfeed and your ad gets put in the newsfeed and nowhere else. There's tons of ad placements. Generally, you just leave it on automatic. If you want to dive in deeper, you can actually tell Facebook, nope, I want my ad to show here. I don't want it to show here. And you can choose exactly where your ad shows up. If you do automatic, Facebook picks based on what they think is best and how the ad is performing in those different places. It'll determine where to put the ad. The next thing is budget and schedule. This is where Facebook, you can see that in this example, this is Facebook's default setting, $5 daily budget. So we're not talking about a budget of $100 a day on Facebook to make an impact. Their default when you set up an ad is actually $5 a day. Okay. And so again, if you've talked about constraints ahead of time, you should know what your budget is here. You can set up a daily budget or you can set up a lifetime budget. And the difference really is if I set up a daily budget, Facebook will spend no more than $5 a day running my ad. If you set up a lifetime budget, so you set up a lifetime budget of $100 and you say you want to run that over the period of a week, if one day your ad is performing well, Facebook will spend more of your budget that day. So your ad budget may run out prior to the timeline being up because Facebook will try to optimize your ad. And if it's doing really well one day, it's going to show it more versus your daily budget. Even if your ad is doing well, it's going to spend $5 a day. And when the $5 is up, it's not showing your ad anymore. So that's really the difference. You can also set up an end date, or you can just let the ad run continuously, depending on how you want the campaign to go. Based on the settings in Facebook, so based on your ad budget and based on how you did your targeting, Facebook will estimate what the audience size is that you're able to reach. And I just put in two examples here. So the first example on the left there is there's no targeting. So you can see the potential reach is 220 million people. I shouldn't say there's no targeting. That's in the United States alone. The potential reach is 220 million people. And based on my ad budget, I could reach 1,300 to 3,700 people a day, estimated based on, again, my targeting and my ad budget. The one on the right, I changed it to just be the city of Erie and the 25-mile radius around the city of Erie. And at that point, you can see the potential reach now has dropped to 230,000 people. My estimated daily reach, though, is still very similar, and that's because of my ad budget, right? So the limiting factor is not how big the potential audience is. The limiting factor is my ad budget because it's set at $5 a day. If I increased that ad budget, this number would obviously go up. If I decreased it, the number would go down. But Facebook will help you determine how big the audience size is that you're trying to reach. And if you do too detailed of targeting, they will even tell you the audience is too small. You probably shouldn't run this ad. The format for the ads, you can choose carousel ads, which is, several images that you can scroll through, or you can choose a single image or a single video. You can probably guess where these pictures came from if you read the text there. All of these were created with one click in Canva. Obviously, you would have to edit them for your store. Canva has a format set up for Facebook ads. It puts all this text in there. You can go in and change the colors to your colors, drop a photo in there, and have an ad created for you, at least the visual portion of the ad created for you in a minute, right? 2 minutes. Again, lean on the tools that work. Canva has already created all of the templates. These are just 3 of hundreds of templates that Canva has for a Facebook ad. Super easy to go in there and change the brand colors, change the images, change the text to be what you want it to be, and save the image, and you can upload that to Facebook, and that's the image for your ad. We talked about Canva last week, so you can check out one of the previous shows if you are interested in using Canva. Fantastic tool for things like this to really help you get over some stumbling blocks of creating the content, which can be difficult. The other things you need to fill in for the Facebook ad are the link. If you're going to provide a link so that they can click and go to your website or whatever, you drop the link in here. You put in your text. If you've been on Facebook, which I'm sure you probably have if you're watching this, you've seen ads that have a headline, they have text. You put that in there, and this is where, again, using the pyramid and knowing what your messaging is ahead of time makes this process super, super, super simple. The last thing is picking which Facebook pixel you want to use. So if you are asking people to click through to your website, you can pick which Facebook pixel you want to use. So for example, the Facebook pixel that's on our website, and that way when people click through from the Facebook ad, Facebook will tie the data, the analytics from the ad to the analytics from your website to know this person clicked on your ad and did this on your website and purchased and whatever it might be. This is a fantastic way, again, to do retargeting, just to know how people are interacting with your ad and your website at the same time. So, guys, the purpose of this is, one, to give you a resource. You can go back through this video and get kind of a high-level look at how to create a Facebook ad, what it actually takes. More importantly, I want you to know how to think about Facebook ads from the pyramid perspective. So you are designing all this stuff ahead of time, not just jumping into Facebook Ad Manager blindly and say, let's on the fly create an ad. Figure this stuff out on paper. I promise it's going to make it so much easier. Secondarily, I created this so to be a resource and challenge you to go create a Facebook ad. When you create the Facebook ad and you're done with it, it doesn't just publish it. It has to be reviewed by Facebook. There's some review process that they go through. They'll let you know if there's any problems with it. But the point is, you can create the entire ad and not run the actual ad for your business. If your complaint is that you're not getting enough traffic, or you're not getting enough awareness, or you're not getting enough sales around your brand, and at the same time, you're not running any Facebook ads, you need to go do that, by noon today. Okay? There's no reason that you should not be running Facebook ads and complaining that you're not getting enough traction around your business at the same time. Those two things should not exist at the same time. You can create your own Facebook ads. We've given you the tools. We've given you the resources. I've shown you that you can do this for as little as $2 a day, right? The default is $5. For as little as $2 a day, you can start and stop your ads anytime. Guys, if there's not enough awareness around your brand, run Facebook ads, okay? You need to be doing this. If you need help, let us know, but go try it, okay? Such a low bar to getting into awareness ads with such a high potential reach. You saw it, $5 a day in Erie County. Facebook was estimating that we could get in front of 1,500 to 3,500 people, right? For $5 a day, you can tell 15 to 3,500 people that your business exists. If you do targeting, that number is going to go down, but that's okay, because when you target the right people, you need fewer of them to hear the message. Guys, again, you're going to hear me say this over and over again. There are no excuses right now for you to not for you to not be getting more awareness around your brand because it's so cheap. This is not going to be true forever, but for now, it's super cheap. We've given you the resources. There's tons of other resources online on how to do this. Go do it, right? You just have to go do it. That's the hard work. That's going to separate the people that are going to see growth from the people that aren't. It's the people that are actually going to take action on this. So guys, this was a little bit, I know this was a little bit like teaching heavy, and I get that. Hopefully this is more of a resource. If you have questions about Facebook ads, you can drop them in the comments. Even if you're listening to the show after the fact, drop your questions in the comments and we will do our best to get back to them as soon as possible. Guys, Facebook ads is a fantastic resource for any business, any project that you're working on. Get out there, create some, let us know if you need help. Okay. Anything to add, Sean? The story about the crown. That's what you have to add.
Oh yeah, I'll talk about my royalty all day. Do you want me to actually tell it?
Yeah, because I think we need to think of we're going to throw this out. Maybe somebody has ideas. We need to think of a contest so that we do something for our viewers every time my son walks into the room in the middle of the show. And maybe we could even have like bonus gifts for when he walks in without a shirt on, because that seems to be happening more often as well. So you had the idea where we need to do like, or somebody, maybe you or SK had the idea that we need to do like caffeinated Q&A bingo. So like every time I say Seth Godin, you can mark that square off, or Gary Vaynerchuk, you can mark that square off, or like my kid walks in without a shirt on, you can mark that square off. And then the first person to win, we give them a prize. I think that's a fantastic idea.
So I'm still disappointed you haven't found a way to implement this idea, but our idea was that Emmett would randomly during every show run into my screen and place a crown on my head, which is like the most appropriate idea I've ever heard. So
the only stumbling block we have right now is Emmett is 6. He's just learning to ride his bike, and Sean lives several miles away, and we're all working from home. There's a minor logistical problem that we had.
Show up to your house to make it happen. Listen, people will carry me on, like, you know, what are those things called that has the seat on top that like
even if I knew, I wouldn't tell you.
Wow. Okay.
I'm kidding. I don't know.
I'm also a little offended right now that more people are more excited about the bingo idea than the so just
of course you are. Of course you are. All right. Listen, I'm going to say it here on the show so people can hear it. We have to get the bingo cards created, and we'll get those out, and we'll think of the prize that we need to give out when somebody gets bingo. I talk a lot, so it shouldn't be that hard to get bingo. Every time Sean mentions a crown, you get to mark off a square. I'm pretty sure this will be a pretty easy. This might be the easiest game of bingo ever.
A picture of me with a crown.
All right, we're going over. We're taking up people's time. Thank you guys for showing up. Again, we'll be here every Tuesday and Friday, 9 a.m. And we will hope to see you Friday. We'll be again, be here at 9 a.m. Go to ghostcreative.com/live, sign up for the email list, and hope you guys have a good week. Reach out to us if you need anything. Have a great day.
Oh, hold on. I'm answering Lois.
Oh, what?
I end it. Okay, bye.
See ya.